Dave Bixby, Ode to Quetzalcoatl. I've heard this album a few times before. First listened to it like 5 years ago and really fell in love with Drug Song. I found it to be one of the most emotional songs ever really. I'm very acquainted with Drug Song, but the rest of the album has gone neglected by me over the years. And returning to it today, I see now that I was a fool. This album is full of amazing stuff. The music here is just Dave and his guitar, so it can be quite simplistic, but it never feels like too little really. Like it never feels skeletal. There's meat enough on these songs. A great quality of this album is just how atmospheric it is. It sounds like Bixby is playing within a cave or a well or something, or just in some dark echoey void like in the album cover. It really adds to the effect of songs like Drug Song, because he sounds so isolated from anything at all there. And then later, this same atmospheric quality is used to depict different things, more positive things. But we'll talk about that later. I did notice that at some point last year, by my estimation, this album became trendy, at least in the online spaces I frequent, which was quite surprising to me really, because it's one of those things that kind of basks in mysteriousness and obscurity. This music wasn't made in mind of achieving success. This album is really just a huge declaration of the power of faith. And the album is also quite lo-fi too, but never in a way that's too far. It all sounds quite great, but it's another element that goes to show this wasn't meant to be music making any waves of popularity like that. He wasn't after the fame. He was more so trying to convince whoever might listen of the power of having faith in Christ. But that will become demonstrated as we go through the tracks. And you know what, let's go ahead and start going through them now, starting with Drug Song. Drug Song is one of the saddest songs ever in my opinion, and it's very convincing in showing you the negative consequences of drugs. He's lost his mind. I think part of what makes this song so effective is how simple the lyrics are. The first line being, "Life used to be good." There's such a heavy sense of loss and regret in this song. A lot of that is carried in how powerful the guitar playing is. Feels like Dave is playing it with such peaking emotion, it crashing down at times. It's like what could be an outburst or a breakdown is channeled entirely into the guitar. Very much a cautionary tale. Dave describes the deterioration of his body and the capture and paralysis of his mind. He describes how his younger years were consumed by this evil. He lost inspiration, became a social pariah, lost all joy and no longer even feels human, and his senses had become completely numb. The most brutal part has to be when Dave's singing comes back in after the instrumental guitar bridge. He asks with such passion, "How did I get this way?" Practically shouting it out. It's really a fantastic song to begin with, especially in context of the rest of the album. Next we have Free Indeed, where the guitar is much more calm and with a sense of healing to it. The song is interesting coming right after Drug Song, as it basically tells the tale of how he was saved from earthly pleasures and his drug use through the faith that he found in Jesus. There's a great sense of achievement and appreciation in the song. So then I changed my style. It took a little while, but I made it. I feel like he says that with such a level of triumph. It's a song about the power of faith really, and again it's quite powerful. It gives you the impression Dave has really been around the block with this stuff, and you can really experience that moment of exhilaration with him, knowing you've made it and you'll never be an addict again. Very happy song that contrasts with the first song tremendously and demonstrates that no matter what depths you sink to, you can always restore yourself. I Have Seen Him is another song about Jesus, this one being about direct communication with him, where Jesus revealed to Dave what must be done in the world so that he can return. Primarily what Jesus asks of Dave is to let him into his heart. He wants Dave to let him love him, and he wants him to spread the word so others can let Jesus love them too, as this will bring them all power. The song is about how we have cast Jesus aside, and how the treasures he offers us are still readily available to us despite this, and that we would be better off allowing them into our lives. The guitar again here is quite triumphant, starting very gentle and mysterious, but building up to this level of confidence, and almost like glory really. Mother is a song where Dave reflects upon how well his mother treated him, how she nurtured him from young, and how in repayment to her, he ended up becoming a junkie, and how it broke her heart. Looking from this position, he has reached where he is much more pious and has got his shit together. He sees this as the worst thing he has ever done in his life. Really, it is quite tragic. She had all of these hopes for him, but over the years she experienced disappointment after disappointment from Dave. And eventually her hope died and she stopped weeping for him. I think this is the saddest part of it all. He left her so disappointed and sad that she stopped feeling sad for him, because she came to stop believing that he could change. And in destroying her hopes like this, Dave really did damage her. His mother tried to show him the light of Christ, but he would scoff at the idea and carry on in his self-destruction. Ironically, this self-destruction would bring him around to finding his faith, and the whole song is like an apology to his mother. But also he's done so much damage to her that it's hard for him to even convince her that he has changed and that he's not lying about finding faith. Morning Sun has much the same sort of profound atmosphere as Drug Song, only here it's not depressing, but actually it feels quite healing. There is this great build-up in this song. It really does feel like an ode to appreciation or love of life. It feels like happiness, and in particular it's about learning to love life. You've reached a point in helping yourself and loving yourself, loving others and loving the world, where you can look back on it like you've been mastering a skill, and you're very happy with the point you've brought yourself to. For someone like Dave, who used to live such a negative experience, being happy is really something you have to work at. And so looking out and be able to take in the beauty of nature is really something he is very proud of, and something he is very thankful for. Great song. Next we have Prayer, which has this great gentle guitar melody, and this song really is one of the most spiritually impactful on the album if you ask me. It feels like having your heart filled with unshakable, doubtless faith. You can whisper your prayers to the sea and they will be heard. It seems like the freedom that comes with spiritual sensation, the sort of boundlessness. The world on this song is really a gift that has been given to us, and you can make of it what you will. If you're all fucked up like Dave on Drug Song, then there's nothing in the world for you but emptiness. But if you have the mindset that the world is yours, then you can love a cloud. You can love a cloud dearly and it will be yours. And this will feel amazing. You can love all things and just live in the bliss of loving all things. Really, the song feels like a bit of an extension from Morning Sun. Same kind of thing going on, where it's saying really that you should live and love, because living and loving are treasures waiting to be claimed by you, that will give you a meaningful life and make you feel amazing and free and happy and at home in the world. This pairing of songs, it has the feeling of an epiphany. And when you compare it to how he was feeling on Drug Song, it really is quite the reverse. Here it's like he has his life completely within his own hands. Lonely Faces is the first troubled song on the album in a while. It's about having all of this profound feeling in you that you know to have healed you and made your life a million times better than it was. Yet when he expresses this to other people who need this sort of healing, they aren't able to understand it. Dave sees that the light of the divine is something that's totally blocked off for these people. Dave realizes he's the only one who can show them the light. Difficult as it is, he has to keep trying. As blind and self-destructive as they are, he knows that he was once this way too. What these people are experiencing is Drug Song, really. And if he could make it out of that state, then he has hope that they can too. They are stated in the song to be living in a dream that's hell for them. He just wants them to be happy, and he recognizes in them their desire to be happy, even if they aren't able to express it themselves. Next we have Open Doors, which to me does carry on the troubled feeling of the previous track. It's in its guitar playing, but through it bursts triumph, hope, resilience, a desire to heal these people. The only lyrics on this track are, open doors in your mind and he will come in. Open doors in your heart and let him come in. Other than this, the guitar playing is the most technical on the album, and I really admire its ability to express such a plethora of fluctuating emotions. This song's feeling really is the struggle to save the world, or save humanity rather. Dave stays determined through this struggle. It's a very admirable song, and really I find so much power in it. Next we have 666, which is this awesome song about the rapture. I think the interesting thing about it is how confident the song is. Dave describes stars falling from the sky and the moon being blood red, yet he is entirely confident and unshaken in his faith. We learn at the start of this track that Dave's faith has grown to the point where he has been able to convert those suffering people on lonely faces. That's what the faith to move a mountain means. It's a metaphor. Just as the faith to destroy a fruitless tree is. They both essentially refer to being able to convince the faithless of faith. This whole album really is just about Dave's spiritual progression. By this point in the album, he is exceptionally strong and powerful compared to the crumpled and used up man he was at the start of the album. And we can see his faith has grown to such a strong place where it has the ability to convince others. So many declarations of undying faith in this song. He knows that he will be collected by the Lord when the time comes, and that those who curse the world will be left behind. Until that day comes, Dave sees it as his duty to save these people. Dave knows that the devil will be defeated, and that Christ will return, and all will be love. The guitar is so brilliant on this song, and is primarily where that confidence comes from. There's just such a massive, bold strength and determination in it. Next we got Waiting for the Rains, which seems to be about Dave leaving his past behind entirely and living a new life that he is proud of. This track again has a great feeling to it. At this point in the album, Dave is really able to achieve anything he puts his mind to. I love the sentiment of this song, but I reckon it probably is the weakest song on the album. And really what's expressed here, we've already seen him do across the album. The guitar doesn't particularly do anything special either. But the song, it has a very powerful sentiment encapsulated in these lyrics. That's the word for this song. And I mean, I still love it really. Just compared to some of these other songs, it's definitely more of a forgettable moment. Secret Forest is probably the most mysterious song on the album. Heavily atmospheric with the guitar so subtle and gentle. The melodies almost being obscured by the guitar's own atmosphere. The song is Dave questioning where the immense love he experiences all around him comes from. He comes to theorize that it comes from the big blue sky, that it comes from God. When he comes to this understanding, the guitar becomes incredibly confident, as if to suggest he really has solved the mystery. And then afterwards, harmonica comes in, which is crazy because that's the first we hear any instrument other than guitar on the album. Dave solved the mystery of love so hard that he unlocked a new instrument. Anyway, that harmonica is played so amazingly. It instills such inspiration in me, such confidence and motivation. I would like to take a moment to say, this album really is awesome. The Secret Forest is kind of like a metaphorical place in the song, where those who know the Lord dwell. Here they are filled with love and appreciation, and Dave wishes to introduce others to this secret forest so that they may be showered with the Lord's love. Lastly, we have the song Peace, which as you could guess is very peaceful. One of the shortest songs on the album. It's very sweet, and we unlock a new instrument again, a flute this time, and its melodies really are so lovely. This song sounds even more lo-fi than most of the album does. The guitar sounds very crispy, and its melodies work really well alongside the flute. It's essentially just a song reminding you to make prayer before you go to bed, reminding you of the benefit it will bring to your life if you do so. It's a very appreciative song, and a woman by the name of Jane Simi sings alongside Dave. This song has a lullaby kind of quality to it, and is really so blissful. Great way to end the album. And a great message to end on too. This album is just guitar and vocals, yet it can sound so full at times. A lot of the songs feel incredibly soulful, like spiritually enveloping, and they put inspiration into my mind. I think though, this probably only happens if you have an open mind and an open heart. Many atheistic types may feel the need to dismiss all of this music out of hand. I think something people don't realize about this album is just how joyous it is. It's like being soaked in healing light mostly. It's very easy to hear Drug Song and just assume this album is a sad one, but it's not at all really. One song out of 12 is negative, and then there's like 2 songs that have sad qualities to them, but they're about making amends. They're about raising yourself up. They're about making improvements to yourself. And so the sadness in these songs is combated quite heavily by positivity. And I mean, even Drug Song is a positive song in a sense, because it depicts something that is very ruinous as very ruinous. It gives you a good lesson. I would actually argue that this is one of the most positive albums ever made. I think this is one of the most convincing pieces of Christian art as well, really. You can feel all of the epiphanies, all of the profound spiritual sensations so strongly. You feel all of his love and all of his appreciation, all of it stemming from Christ and faith. I mean, this stuff has me valuing faith way more. To be honest, I never realised just how good this album is. I really liked it the first time I listened, and all the times I've listened since then. But I guess I never gave it the attention it deserves, because this album is actually a masterpiece. I give it 9.5 cats out of a possible 10 cats. But yeah, that's about it for this review. Subscribe to the Catman Show, leave a like, leave a comment. Goodbye.